This evil Hollywood discussion is getting more and more frequently addressed, with someone now that we would have never expected pulled into the accusation limelight. And I'm talking about Katy Perry being accused of 20 years ago assaulting another woman at an evening out together at the club. All of the details we're going to share inside of this video. You're going to probably be surprised about the event that happened, as well as other accusations that have been made against Katy Perry. And it leads us to the question, what did she see within evil Hollywood that would lead her to perform these types of actions on her own? It's definitely strange. It's a different take. Most of you who watch my videos aren't subscribed. I invite all of you to join the family, subscribe to the channel, so when I put out videos every single day, you're one of the first people to chime in, to be here, and to be able to view that content. I really appreciate you guys. Now, let's see what's going on with Katy Perry.
Australian authorities have reportedly announced they're investigating pop star Katy Perry regarding a sexual assault claim made by actress Ruby Rose. We're getting into the allegations, the potential investigation, the potential charge, what we can expect next, who would be interviewed. Pretty incredible celebrity accusation is now making the headlines. Actress Ruby Rose has accused pop singer Katy Perry of sexual assault at a nightclub in Australia about 20 years ago. This is big news. And what has really made this big news is this has now reportedly prompted an official police investigation over there. What started this, right? So Ruby Rose, who is best known for films like Resident Evil, John Wick, Pitch Perfect, The Meg, she took to threads regarding Katy Perry. And it was regarding Katy Perry reacting to Justin Bieber's Coachella performance. And Ruby Rose goes to threads and reportedly writes, Katy Perry actually assaulted me at Spice Market nightclub in Melbourne. Who gives a bleep what she thinks? Now, she followed that up with, I'm now 40. It has taken almost 2 decades to say this publicly, though I am so grateful to have made it long enough to find my voice. It just shows how much of an impact trauma and sexual assault takes. Thank you for seeing me.
It's crazy to believe that. And I know that it's normal, but it's just so strange that people wait so long for these things to come out, especially someone like Ruby Red, who has a public voice, who has a platform to be heard. It's fine. I understand, but at the same time, it is quite strange that so many people that are victims of assault either never say anything or just hold on to it for so long. Then flipping the coin for Katy Perry to have to defend herself against something that happened 20 years ago is also quite strange. Like, especially as we're going to hear inside of this story, there were a lot of alcohols involved, potentially even drugs involved in this, and she may not even remember that evening at all.
Now, there's a lot more that I'm going to get into here, but there was a representative for Katy Perry fired back in a statement saying the allegations being circulated on social media by Ruby Rose about Katy Perry are not only categorically false, they are dangerous, reckless lies. Miss Rose has a well-documented history of making serious public allegations on social media against various individuals, claims that have repeatedly been denied by those named. Now, I don't believe that was in direct reference to something specific, but to provide a little bit of context here, it was a few years ago when Ruby Rose left the CW's Batwoman show and would make allegations of a hostile work environment and misconduct, targeted producers and executives, which, by the way, Warner Brothers responded at the time saying this was a form of, quote, revisionist history, claimed that she was let go, that she was fired from this project, quote, based on multiple complaints about workplace behavior. But I want to go back to Ruby Rose and Katy Perry. So in another post, Rose alleged that Perry, quote, saw me resting on my best friend's lap to avoid her and bent down, pulled her underwear to the side and rubbed her disgusting, let's just say, private parts on my face until my eyes snapped open and I projectile vomited on her.
Wow. I mean, that is extreme. That is disgusting. It's strange to me that Ruby Rose has had so many issues within the industry. I have seen her in some movies. Actually, The Meg is the one that comes to mind where I watched her. It's just strange that so many people or so many allegations have been made against so many. Unfortunate, maybe, that she's been put in all those positions. I'm not really sure because I don't know the full story on all of the allegations in all the cases, if they even made it that far.
Very descriptive, very specific, okay? Now, Rose also posted that, quote, as a woman, for a myriad of reasons, opening up about W on W, women on women, violence and sexual abuse seems to be 100 times harder than speaking about the male predators, at least for me. And then there was a major update. Rose posted on Threads, today I will be walking into a police station to see if any of my experiences can be investigated. I imagine they are past their statute of limitations, but all the more reason to try. What is interesting is that she had previously posted that she wasn't interested in reporting this to police. Actually, she apparently posted that Perry, quote, is more than welcome to sue me. She won't because it happened. I have photos and it was literally in public and witnessed by multiple people. By the way, legal point of view here, that's right. Katy Perry could technically sue Ruby Rose for something like defamation because of these, I would imagine she would argue, alleged false public statements made on social media. If Rose had filed a lawsuit making these claims, she probably wouldn't be able to be sued for defamation because generally speaking, if you make claims in a lawsuit, you're shielded from defamation suits, right? Makes sense. If anybody could just turn around and file defamation suits against you for filing a lawsuit, it would chill litigation. It would chill anyone from going to the courts, and that wouldn't make sense. But for the public comments that Ruby Rose is making against Katy Perry, yes. Is there potential legal liability? Sure. I'm not saying Katy Perry is going to file a lawsuit against Ruby Rose, but just something to think about.
Now, if Katy Perry knows that she's innocent in this situation, it's a lot easier for her to put together a lawsuit for defamation of character. She knows that she's innocent. She knows that there's no proof of anything because nothing ever happened. But if she doesn't, well, then if she isn't sure, then she probably won't do a lawsuit. Or maybe she doesn't want to do a lawsuit for other reasons. Maybe she doesn't want to get herself more in the public eye for something that's a negative thing. Because remember, any exposure to something that's so negative is going to leave a taste in the society's mouth, and she may just want to move on from it.
Now, I want to go to what I believe is Ruby Rose's latest response, posted online, quote, hi, last update on this. As of this afternoon, I have finalized all of my reports. This means I am no longer able to comment, repost, or talk publicly about any of those cases or the individuals involved. It's going to look like 1 a.m. ignoring everything from supportive messages to other people's experiences, but I'm not. This is a standard request from the police and in many ways quite the relief. I can start the healing process now and temporarily move forward. I love you all so much. And guess what? This is the big update. According to KTLA5, quote, Melbourne Sexual Offenses and Child Abuse Investigation Team detectives are investigating a historical sexual assault that occurred in Melbourne in 2010. Police have been told the incident occurred at a licensed premises in Melbourne's CBD. As the investigation remains ongoing, it would be inappropriate to comment further at this stage. Now, CBD stands for the Central Business District. And Perry herself, to be clear, didn't address this claim, but I will say around the same time, on April 14th, she reportedly posted on Instagram, on an Instagram story, writing, I love you. This was alongside an image of her song, By the Grace of God. This is from her 2013 album, Prism. Take that for what you will. But I do have to mention this. In an interview with the Herald Sun, this is per reporting by the Rolling Stone Australia, the reported ex-manager of the Melbourne nightclub Spice Market, which has since closed its doors, claimed that the night of the incident that Rose is describing, he doesn't know of anything like that happening. He claimed they came in together. They were also with Katy's hair and makeup girl and another guy who was friends with Ruby. It was a security nightmare because there were 600 people there and Katy kept coming out and dancing with everybody and going right in the middle of the mosh pit. They were in the genie bottle, so that's apparently the VIP room, and having drinks and stuff, but were mainly in there doing their own thing. I wasn't aware of any alleged assault or someone vomiting.
All right, so someone here that was there. Okay, maybe you wouldn't hear about the assault, but the vomiting you would, because that's something that needs to be cleaned up. There has to be someone on staff that's going to clean that up because it's not just going to sit there in the genie bottle room while everyone's inside of there. That's something that would have been known. Also, you'll notice right here that they mentioned something about Katy Perry keep going out in the mosh pit. It's a crazy event, tons of people, 600 people being said at this club. And then you have Katy Perry, a superstar, going into the mosh pit without proper security. Also, he said they were having drinks and stuff. Now, I don't know if N stuff is just how he was speaking, or if N stuff means there were other things going on there as well, such as drinking and drugs. And the more inebriated Katy Perry was, and everyone that was in that room was, one, the less they're going to remember what happened. Two, the less they're going to be reliable for their statements on what happened as well, because they were under the influence, and apparently heavily under the influence.
He claimed that Rose and Perry were both, quote, drunk, but, quote, weren't paralytic or anything. Both had way too much to drink. To avoid people taking photos of them in a state, we organized a car and driver to be waiting outside the Collins Street entrance of the hotel. We escorted them out the back and up the fire exit and put them in the car together. By the way, before we even get into the investigation and what could come from this, I have to say this. This is not the first time that Ruby Rose has gone after Katy Perry. No, back in 2017, she reportedly criticized Perry's Swish Swish song because it was seen at the time as a possible Taylor Swift diss track. And Rose reportedly wrote on Twitter, "I just think with everything going on in the world, to go from rebranding as a political activist only to ditch it and go low is a bummer." One more thing I got to call out. Certain things have come into focus or have been getting this renewed attention since these allegations from Ruby Rose, like actress Anna Kendrick. So she joked on a 2014 appearance with Conan O'Brien that Perry had inappropriately touched her cleavage during what she described as a weird night.
And this is where things get strange, because you're going to see multiple people saying that things happened. And the question we ask is this a norm in the elite Hollywood? The dirty Hollywood, as we call it. Is this normal behavior? And now Katy Perry is being singled out for behavior that everyone does? Or is this outlier behavior and Katy Perry is acting out of line, out of the norm, and really taking advantage of people?
2019, actor Josh Kloss, who apparently appeared in Perry's Teenage Dream music video, accused her not only of verbal abuse, but claimed that she took his private part out at a party without his consent. Georgian Russian television host Tina Kendalaki accused Perry of inappropriately touching and kissing her. 2018, while serving as a judge on American Idol, Perry reportedly kissed contestant Benjamin Glaze on the lips, which he later said he didn't see it as sexual harassment, but apparently he did say that made him uncomfortable. Now, I want to understand what this Australian investigation could look like. Is there no statute of limitations? Could Katy Perry be interviewed? Could she be arrested? Who else would be interviewed in connection with this case?
I think the biggest question that we have to ask here is the behavior that Katy Perry, if all of those accusations are actually true, is that the norm? Is that something that when you're in Hollywood, people do? Is being overly affectionate, I guess we can call it, something that's an acceptable norm inside of high society? If it is, and if Katy Perry is just acting along the lines of what everyone does, whether it be right or wrong, not saying that it's right, but it's going to hold less of a blow. If it's something that she's doing that's definitely an outlier and these things don't happen, then it's going to hit a lot harder on her. Now, taking out someone's private part without their consent is pretty extreme. Kissing someone on the lips, definitely a lot less extreme, although still could be an invasion of privacy. And we don't know the answers here. None of us were there. We don't know what's fact from what may just be made up. And I'm sure that in time, the truth will rise up. I'm curious about your thoughts on this one. Let me know in the comments section below and I'll be sure to take a look. And if you want to know more about this type of celebrity stuff, check out this one involving the Kardashians and Paris Hilton, because it's actually an insane story.